Today, I want us to talk about political games. Yeah, these are the games people in politics play with the minds of the people. And it is very easy to get fooled. Yeah, because politicians are in power, they have resources, they can organize all kinds of things. Yeah, so that what the people see is not actually what is unfolding. Now, there are two examples that come to mind immediately. Yeah, the distribution, very wide distribution of DP Ruto campaign posters and banners all over Nairobi. And the second example comes from Sudan, yeah, where we've had a photograph of former President Omar al-Bashir being welcomed, if I can put it like that, being welcomed into prison, yeah, by inmates. Now, I want you to understand what kind of welcome I'm talking about. I'm not talking about a warm welcome. I'm talking about teasing, jeering, pulling at his hair, etc., etc. Now, I appreciate your views may be different, yeah, but in my view, both these two examples are classic examples of political games to fool the public. And I'll tell you why I think that they're political games. And we're going to start with Sudan. There is so much drama unfolding in Sudan. As the world looks on in utter disbelief and shock, there is a peaceful revolution unfolding. At least so far it has been peaceful, mostly. This revolution has been led by the young. Yeah, very young professionals, yeah, the internet generation, if you want to call them that. Very well organized demonstrations that have been impossible to penetrate or even break. And amazingly, so much has been achieved so far. But these youngsters are not easy to fool. They have even seen the way politicians have hijacked the revolution. People who are not even involved in the initial organization. People who are not involved in risking their lives, demonstrating right in front of the army headquarters in Khartoum. You know, another name for politicians is opportunists. Everywhere in the world, they're opportunists. And these youngsters have a message for these opportunists. They have said they have no problem. They will support the politicians who back up their demands. Not some of their demands, all their demands. Actually, there's so much to admire about what is unfolding in Sudan. For instance, most revolutions do not have a credible roadmap of what is to happen once they've succeeded in removing the regime they want to remove from power. The Sudan one has a very clear one. Yeah, what they want is that the whole regime of Bashir must go home. That does not involve replacing Bashir with his deputy. It does not involve replacing the regime with military people who are working with Bashir all along. In fact, in the initial indictment by the ICC, many people are not aware, it's not only Bashir who was indicted. There were 17 in total in Sudan who are wanted by the ICC for war crimes. And many of those people are still in the army. That is all well and good. But what happens once all these people leave power? Once the old regime is gone kabisa, what happens next? A power vacuum? No. These youngsters have figured it all out. And this has really impressed me. Now, we have all heard of a military council, military ruling council, or a military presidential council, which usually takes over after a military coup. But I have never heard of a civilian presidential council, which is exactly what the young people of Sudan are proposing. Now, of course, this will be temporary, to organize for elections. An interim government, yes, because power cannot allow a vacuum. And this civilian presidential council will consist of civilians and a representative from the military. I'm guessing it will have a couple of leaders of the revolution, which should frustrate any evil plans, any opportunistic schemes of politicians. And then the cabinet will be independent technocrats, carefully chosen. Now. Is that brilliant or what? I'm sorry for my ranting, but I just couldn't help admire what's happening in our neighboring African country, on the continent of Africa. Anyway, back to what I was saying. And we're talking about games which politicians play. Now, this photograph of Bashir, being welcomed into the notorious, feared Kobar prison is very suspect. And most Sudanese do not believe that it's genuine. And they have good reasons. And I'll tell you why. Now, opinion is divided as to whether Bashir is in the country or he has already left. Although most people believe he's still in the country. But whatever the case may be, a very credible theory that has emerged is that he has been controlling everything that has been going on. His removal from power was not actually a removal from power. He handed over to his deputy with instructions, assuming that as soon as he left power, the demonstrations would break up. The people would be appeased. My, oh my. Was he in for a shock or what? These youths are smart. They're not interested. Because the point of the whole revolution was to remove the entire regime, not just Bashir. And now that that has failed to work, especially after his deputy had to resign after only 1 day in power, it would be a very smart move, to convince everybody that Bashir is in prison. And not any prison. He is in the very prison where he used to send his political opponents, many of whom, they never came back. They died there, executed. So naturally news like that would tickle the revolutionaries into submission. They'd be so happy, so elated that the protests would stop. But alijua ajui. Those behind the revolution are saying, well, if that is true, it's good news. But that is not our objective. We have not yet reached our objective. And amongst the questions Sudanese are asking is that there's another video of civilians raiding Bashir's home after the state security was withdrawn. Moving from room to room, trashing his clothes, generally having fun at the place where the former dictator, president, used to live. Some say it was just one of his hideouts. Now for that one, there's a video. So why was there no video of Bashir entering Kobar prison? Is it because you cannot Photoshop a video? That's a credible question. Bottom line, the young gallant sons of Sudan will not be fooled that easily. No way. And so, nothing short of the entire regime falling will restore normalcy into Sudan. Nothing short of the restoration of democracy and freedom to the people will restore normalcy into Sudan. What an inspiration to the long-suffering people of very many nations who are under senseless dictators. Now to the second example I mentioned, right here in Kenya. And let us start by asking ourselves a simple question, a very simple question. How would the DP Ruto camp benefit from having banners distributed all over Nairobi advertising DP Ruto for president? What would they have to gain exactly? I mean, really think very deeply about it. Maybe you can educate me. Maybe you can tell me in the comments area of this video what the DP Ruto camp would gain from the activities of yesterday, a few hours ago. And then let's move to the other side. What would the kitaeleweka group, the handshake team, have to gain from the stunt of yesterday? Well, as far as cornering DP Ruto, a lot. Number one, President Uhuru Kenyatta is on record as having said very clearly that those who go around on weekends at funerals and all over the place, the team Tanga Tanga, should find something else to do on weekends. Bottom line, no early campaigns for 2022. So what do we have here? A very direct and public defying of the president's orders. Very clear evidence of the DP Ruto camp defying the president, going against the president, the deputy president defying his boss, the president. Very strong points of argument in any possible impeachment. And if you look carefully, it looks very well choreographed. Francis Atwoli, the boss of Kotu, comes out and says, DP Ruto will not be on the ballot in 2022. Now, Atwoli may be a loose cannon. He may stand up and say many crazy things. However, it is also true that Atwoli is a very crafty political schemer and political player. And the most obvious evidence is how he has remained at the helm of Kotu all these years. You'd think Kotu is his personal property. Oh yes. There is no way he would have managed to achieve that without being a very crafty and competent political player. Now the latest is that Atwoli has said, contrary to what some people are saying, he did not say DP Ruto would be dead. And therefore, he does not deserve the Mganga tag. He does not deserve to be called a Mganga. He didn't predict anybody's death. What he was saying is that DP Ruto's name will not be on the ballot. Now, next in these events that I strongly believe were choreographed, organized, planned carefully, is the fact that some MPs have just come out and demanded an investigation into the wealth of the Deputy President William Samoei Ruto. They say his income all along, since he joined politics, is known. And therefore it will be very easy to do the math, to do the calculations, and come up with a lifestyle audit, that will prove, that the Deputy President's wealth is ill-gotten. That's the whole objective. Now let us understand something very important. Such an audit, such a move being successful, can open the door to prosecution of the Deputy President. It can open the door very widely for a successful impeachment. Ever since 2 ICC indicted suspects were successfully able to vie for high office in Kenya, people have forgotten, people have trashed a very key, important part of the Constitution, the famous Chapter 6. Now, last time I checked, this section is still intact, it's still in the Constitution, whether Kenyans have forgotten and ignored it or not. The long and short of Chapter 6 is that it talks about the qualifications, the moral qualifications of anybody who wants to vie for a political position in Kenya, let alone high office. And so, if one were to put up a successful correction, and so, the long and short of what I'm trying to get across is that if somebody were to have a successful lifestyle audit, that was able to prove conclusively that Deputy President William Ruto did not gain his wealth, in any other way but corrupt means, and put this lifestyle audit right next to Chapter 6, DP Ruto would be gone before midday. Maybe even very early in the morning. Now, of course, I'm not perfect. Of course, I make mistakes sometimes. So it is very possible that this issue of banners and posters of the Deputy President for 2022 all over Nairobi were a very serious blunder of the DP Ruto camp. It was an emotional response from the DP Ruto camp. And if that is true, then it was a fatal mistake. But believing such a story too quickly would be insulting the intelligence of the Deputy President's camp. Now, please get me right. I've not suddenly turned into a DP Ruto supporter. I am not, and I will never support the Deputy President. However, I tell the truth on this channel. And my current truth, based on the information I have, is that actually this move was executed by the Deputy President's enemies. And I hope I have shown you very clearly the many advantages those enemies of the Deputy President will have, after executing this scheme, or from executing this particular scheme. Bottom line, the benefits and advantages for them are just too much. Until next time, this is Chris Kumekucha.